Hello, and welcome. Today we're counting down the 11 fastest dying countries in the world, not from disaster, but from population decline. This isn't just about numbers, it's about societies, economies, and cultures quietly transforming. We'll explore which nations are shrinking the fastest, and dig into the complex reasons why: economic pressures, immigration, cultural shifts, and more. This is a story of empty classrooms, shuttered businesses, and the search for solutions. Stay tuned to see if your country made the list, and to understand the forces reshaping our global community. Our journey spans from Eastern Europe to East Asia, and it might just change how you see the world. Number 11 is Portugal, where population decline is a slow, steady erosion. For decades, birth rates have been well below replacement, and many young Portuguese have left for better opportunities abroad. The 2008 financial crisis accelerated this trend, creating a brain drain of the country's most dynamic citizens. Government incentives for childbirth and programs to lure back the diaspora have had limited impact. Rural villages are aging and emptying out, with schools and shops closing as youth disappear. The cycle is self-reinforcing. As services vanish, fewer young families stay. Portugal's story is a microcosm of the broader demographic challenges facing much of Europe. Population decline here isn't just a statistic, it's reshaping the nation's future. Number 10 is Greece, where economic crisis has left deep demographic scars. The 2009 debt crisis supercharged already low birth rates and triggered a mass exodus of young, skilled Greeks. Over 500,000 left for work abroad, hollowing out the country's future potential. An aging population strains pensions and healthcare, especially in rural areas now populated mostly by the elderly. While the economy is recovering, luring back the diaspora and restoring confidence remains a huge challenge. Greece's story is a warning. Financial crises can quickly become demographic ones. The effects will be felt for generations. At number 9 is Japan, the world's most famous super-aged society. With one of the lowest birth rates and highest life expectancies, Japan faces a silver tsunami of elderly citizens. The problem isn't emigration, but internal pressures, high living costs, demanding work culture, and delayed or foregone marriage and childbirth. Rural areas are dotted with ghost villages, and the government's incentives for families have had little effect. Japan leads in robotics for elder care, but the shrinking workforce challenges economic growth and social support systems. The world is watching Japan's experiment in managing a flipped population pyramid. How Japan adapts will offer lessons for other aging nations. The stakes couldn't be higher. Number 8 is Hungary, where population decline has persisted for decades. Emigration surged after EU accession, and birth rates remain low due to urbanization and economic uncertainty. The government's response: aggressive pro-natalist policies, tax breaks, loans, and subsidies for families. But with a strong anti-immigration stance, the focus is on Hungarian births, not migration. Results are mixed. Marriage rates are up, but the overall population still shrinks. Hungary is a live experiment. Can policy alone reverse demographic decline? The world is watching to see if this gamble pays off. At number 7 is Romania, where population decline has been relentless since 1989. The fall of communism led to a sharp drop in births and a massive wave of emigration, especially after joining the EU. Millions have left for better wages, including a devastating brain drain of medical and technical professionals. Rural villages are now populated mostly by the elderly and children left behind, so-called Euro orphans. Government efforts to lure back the diaspora and boost fertility have struggled against the economic pull of Western Europe. Romania's story highlights the unintended demographic consequences of open borders and economic disparity. The exodus continues. Number 6 is Lithuania, which has lost nearly a quarter of its population since independence. Low birth rates, high mortality, and especially mass emigration after EU accession have emptied towns and strained the economy. The lure of higher wages abroad proved irresistible for many young Lithuanians. The government's Choose Lithuania campaign has brought some returnees, but the demographic hole remains. There's a real fear for the future of Lithuanian language and identity. Even with recent economic growth, the effects of decades of emigration are hard to reverse. Lithuania's struggle is a poignant example of small nations in a globalized world. Number 5 is Croatia, where war, low birth rates, and EU-driven emigration have created a demographic crisis. The war of the 1990s caused immediate population loss and a baby bust. Since joining the EU, young Croatians have left in droves for better jobs, especially from regions like Slavonia. The result: abandoned villages, closed schools, and a palpable sense of depopulation. The government offers incentives and appeals to the diaspora, but economic realities and pessimism persist. Does it pay to stay? Is a common question among youth. Even a country rich in natural beauty isn't immune to the hollowing out effects of migration. Croatia's future depends on reversing this trend. Number 4 is Serbia, where decades of low birth rates, high death rates, and brain drain have created a slow-motion crisis. The wars and instability of the 1990s left a legacy of uncertainty, discouraging family formation. Highly skilled Serbians continue to leave for better opportunities, especially in healthcare and science. The median age is now over 43, straining pensions and healthcare as the workforce shrinks. Government incentives exist, but many young people seek stability and rule of law elsewhere. Reversing the decline will require more than money. It demands deep societal and political change. Serbia's demographic future hangs in the balance. The challenge is urgent. Number 3 is Ukraine, where war has turned a chronic demographic crisis into a catastrophe. Even before the 2022 invasion, Ukraine faced low birth rates, high mortality, and mass emigration. War has caused direct loss of life, especially among young men, and triggered Europe's largest refugee crisis in decades. Millions of women and children have fled, many unlikely to return soon. Birth rates have plummeted, and the country's future workforce is in jeopardy. Even if peace comes, rebuilding with a depleted population will be a monumental task. Ukraine's demographic wounds will shape its destiny for generations. It's a stark example of how conflict can decimate a nation's future. Runner-up is Latvia, where over a quarter of the population has vanished since 1991. Economic hardship, low birth rates, and high mortality set the stage. But EU accession and the 2008 crisis triggered mass emigration. Rural regions are hollowed out, with labor shortages and shrinking tax bases. The government's efforts to attract returnees and support families have had limited success. For a nation with a unique language and culture, the fear of fading away is real. Latvia's story is a warning. Demographic cliffs can come fast and hard. The future is uncertain. Number 1 is Bulgaria, the fastest shrinking country on Earth. Since the end of communism, Bulgaria's population has plummeted from nearly 9 million to projections as low as 5.4 million by 2050. The world's highest death rate, one of the lowest birth rates, and relentless emigration have created a demographic collapse. The Northwest is now the EU's poorest and most depopulated region, with abandoned villages and crumbling infrastructure. Businesses can't find workers, and the pension system is under existential threat. The government's attempts to boost births and lure back emigrants have barely made a dent. Corruption and economic disparity continue to drive people away. Bulgaria stands as the ultimate cautionary tale of demographic decline. The crisis threatens the very future of the nation. From Portugal's slow fade to Bulgaria's dramatic collapse, these 11 countries face unprecedented demographic challenges. Aging populations, brain drain, and low birth rates are reshaping societies worldwide. The experiences of these nations are case studies for what may lie ahead elsewhere. How we respond through policy, innovation, or cultural change will define the future. Let us know in the comments if you were surprised or have personal experience with these trends. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more deep dives into the forces shaping our world.